Hi, in this Photopia video, we're going to be talking about color selection and paintbrushes a little bit more. So let's go to the share screen. Back to our image, our sample image in Photopia. Today we're still working with the lion. And what we're going to be talking about is color selection first. So our color select tools, our initial ones are right down here. And you can have two active colors chosen in Photopia. And there are a bunch of ways to get them. The first way to get a color is to click in the color area. And then it's going to bring up the color picker window. And you've got a slider here. And you can slide through this whole menu of colors. It begins and ends with red. And it's got a whole spectrum of colors between it. Each little bit, you go down the spectrum, changes the base hue. Hue is another word for color vibrancy, right? The basic hue of the color you're working with. And then inside of that hue, when you get to a place, I can just stop there for the sake of randomness. When you stop on a hue, it's going to give you a full range of tints and tones of that particular hue. So the pure hue is up here in the color. Here, this blue is where I've stopped on, or about where I've stopped on my slider. And then I've got that color mixed in different shades, mixed strictly with black. Along this edge, I've got that color mixed strictly with white. And then along the diagonal in the rest of the field is varying degrees of my base hue mixed with varying amounts, relative amounts of black and white, black being the X scale, white being the Y scale on this. And you can see the many, many, many colors we can choose. I ran into a really nice sort of periwinkle over here that I'm going to try to get. That toward white a little. But see how gray you can get with some of these. But active grays that are based in colors rather than just mixing black and white together. Oh, I like that. Okay. So let's say I like that color. I hit OK, and then once I hit OK, it's going to change from red to that periwinkle. So right now, see the red here? Hit OK, and it trades out for the periwinkle, and that is going to be our active color. I need to change my brushes back from the last video. And I want to go into my layer. So here we are in this. Again, we've chosen that color. And then I can start painting in that particular color. Yuck. Okay. Now let's say I want to switch colors. I can have two colors active on my palette. I can there's a double arrow here that's teeny weeny, and I can barely see it, but right here is a switcheroo arrow, and swaps the colors. So now my active color is on top. So my active color now is black. And so if I'm using a brush, it's using my active color, which is black. And so again, I can switcheroo colors like that. It's color swap. I like the word switcheroo better. Okay, so I'm going to turn that layer off for the moment and talk about another color selector, and that is the eyedropper tool, which is very handy. And what the eyedropper tool is going to do is it's going to focus in on one pixel on this thing. It's going to capture that color in whatever that pixel is and drop it into our active color layer. So if I go here and I want to get the tan of the lion's ear, Steve's ear sticking out there, I click that, and that's our new active color. If I want to click this yellowy green down here in the background, I click that, that's my active color, which is really important for when you're trying to blend and match things. Capturing the local, what we call the local hue, okay, the color that is present on here is going to be very, very, very useful when we're doing blending skills. Now, the thing is, pixels are what we call very, very small. And getting the cursor on the right pixel can be difficult. This is a place where we use zoom tools, and we can get way, let's say I want to get the sort of the reddish little halo around this fur marking here. So I can just zoom way in on that. And now I can get at, even the, now it becomes like selector boxes. So I can go back to my eyedropper tool and I can pick which of these particular pixels I want to match. That one's too dark, and that one's too dark, and that one's too brown. I'm looking for a pinker, lighter one. So I said pinker, right? So let's look for things that are objectively next to all, or I mean, relatively speaking, next to all this. These are very pink. Maybe not, they're not exactly what we consider pink, but again, relative to what we're looking at, that one is pretty darn pink. So now I've chosen that color. I can get very specific about my color choices when I zoom in close. And then I can just zoom out using this, or I can go to view, fit on screen, fit the area. And it fit the area, puts this back into a full perspective. Now, when I go back to my paintbrush, right, now I'm painting in with that color that I just chose. And this is actually kind of interesting palette developing here. But you can see by using my eyedropper tool how I got specific colors chosen, and then how I chose colors using my color selector here. And once again, I'm going to remind you that we can use our eraser to clear a layer like this. And I got my giant eraser, and it's fully opaque and with full flow. And I just erase this junk away so we can get to the next video. I hope that video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.